Y'all are the Green Party presidential candidate and running mate. Tell the people, what is the Green Party and how are they different from the Democrats and the Republicans?
Well, for one thing, we don't take money from billionaires and bankers and AIPAC and Wall Street and the war machine. So we're a people-powered party. That's what makes us totally different. That's what liberates us to actually tell it like it is and to stand up and fight for the people, for the health care that we need as a human right, for the housing that we need, because half of America right now, half of all renters are struggling to keep a roof over their heads. 87 million people don't have the health care that we need. Our schools are in crisis. We got 44 million people carrying student debt and a climate crisis. Yet we're spending half of our congressional dollars on the endless war machine, bringing us the likes of the genocide in Gaza and beyond. We got 3, nuclear wars in the making right now. This is where our dollars are going. It's half of our congressional budget. It's $12,000 on average per household in America to keep this endless war machine going right now. Yet we have such urgent and dire needs, especially among communities of color and African Americans. We've got really critical needs that we need to be meeting. And that's what the Green Party is about, actually fighting for people, planet, and peace over profit.
Kamala Harris had posted a reel about reparations. I posted a reel where she was talking about it. And she was asked, and she sort of went around for about 90 seconds, and then she ended by saying, "I will never do anything that only helps Black people." In other words, it was a rising tide, lift all boats. We're going to have social policies and stuff that helps Black folks by default. So I asked Dr. Jill in the interview, what's your position on reparations? And she said they behave as though it's incalculable, but it has been calculated by specialists many times. It's between $10 and $13 trillion U.S., and I'm in favor of cash payments to the descendants of the enslaved. So this had my attention with that, right? The second point is I said, well, we know that you have been at the forefront of the struggle for Palestinian liberation, and as an anti-Zionist Jewish white woman, that is a powerful statement, especially seeing you get arrested at, pro-Palestine, rally. But I said, what's your overall vision of foreign policy? And she said, to dismantle the American empire. And I said, and you better hurry up quick and do it before somebody do it for you. Right? That those two processes look very different. If you take the $1 trillion a year that are being thrown away, murdering other people's children in foreign countries, and instead put that into investments in infrastructure, into social housing, into healthcare in this country, then that looks like a flourishing, prosperous future, not just for Black America, but for all of America, right? Whereas if you continue to torment humanity with the most brutal imperialist state ever to exist in human history, we're coming up on a 9/11 memorial, right? Jill and I are going to do something, a march in Detroit. Well, what did Malcolm say about chickens coming home to roost? If we keep exporting this violence all over the globe, then it is going to keep coming right back here to our homes. And that's something that doesn't just concern Black and brown folk. That's something that concerns all folk.
1 out of every 3 voters did not vote in the last presidential election in 2020. 1 out of every 3 eligible voters chose not to vote. And who were they? They were largely, disproportionately of color, young, and low income. Exactly the people to whom our agenda speaks. Yeah. So, a lot about voting is indeterminate, and it's not going to be predicted by polls, because polls, are by definition people who tend to vote.
Sure.
But what we're talking to are people who tend not to vote. Don't they also deserve a vote? And let me also cite the statistics that show the numbers are off the charts right now in terms of people who want other options. Yep. This is sampled every year by Gallup and also by Pew. But Gallup shows that the numbers now are 63% who are saying that the two parties are doing such a bad job of serving the public interest that 63% say we need another option. We need another major party. So it's like amidst all this indeterminate stuff, and you're absolutely right, you can't predict a lot of this. Are we going to clamp down and say, therefore shut down choices, therefore shut down options when that's what people are demanding? And why are people demanding it? Because they've been thrown under the bus for long enough by both parties, and they really want other options. So what we're saying is, let's give people those other options. If you're concerned about splitting the vote, so-called spoiled elections, there's a solution for that. It's called ranked choice voting. We have been pushing that for 20 years, and the Democrats keep shutting it down. Yeah. Why do they shut it down? Because they want to extort your vote. They want to be able to use fear campaigning and smear campaigning because they don't want to face the music.